Hello everyone, it's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here for a review of the Drake Buccaneer. Yes, a Star Citizen Annex review going back to the days of past. Now, the Drake Buccaneer was delivered to us shortly after it became apparent that the Cutlass just wasn't going to live up to its role as a dedicated fighter. So let's take a look at the Buccaneer and see how it holds up to that mission of being a dedicated fighter. Well, first off, let's all admit something. Drake isn't exactly the most legitimate business for shipbuilding in the world of Star Citizen. Most of their ships are used by the more nefarious and less legally legitimate business owners, aka pirates. So this was made to complement the Caterpillar, Cutlass combination, and of course the Dragonflies. And this ship was made specifically to go against the advocacy and other malicious ships that they would be facing today, which would be Avengers, M50s, Hornets, Sabres, etc. And like I start off with most of my videos, let's talk a little bit about the dimensions here. The ship, according to the updated ship matrix, is 20 meters long, with a beam of 16 meters and a height of 6 meters, and an empty weight, or cargo mass, null cargo mass, of 14,000 kilograms. And that puts it right in the same class as the consolidated Outland Mustang Delta and the aging but very amazing Aegis Dynamics fighter, the Gladius. Now, it is far below the weight and specifications of the 300 series, the Hornet, the Sabre, so we're going to try to compare it to quite a number of ships. And the reason for that is it's got maneuverability, acceleration, and speed of a Gladius, but it has the punching power of something closer to a Hornet. So let's take a walk around this bird. As we begin our walk around of the Drake Buccaneer, we see its many hardpoints. On the outside wing are 2 hardpoints for guns. On the inside, there's a size 1 hardpoint for missiles. In this case, the stock ship comes with rattlers. On the outside, we have Badgers and we have longswords. So it is set up for a pretty decent weapon loadout just with those 3 weapons. You're not going to take on all of Pirate Swarm by yourself, but you are going to be able to take on a lot of the Vandal Swarm by yourself. In order to go further, you're probably going to need to update these weapons, and I will tell you how to do that later on. As we walk around the back, we see its huge thrusters. They are going to be a size 3, and they're powered by a size 2 power plant. So you have these 2 massive thrusters on each side. The detail level of the ship is amazing. It's not as good as I thought it would be in the... I used to look at the landing gear and just be amazed, and it seems like the detail work they're doing on the parts that don't matter are starting to lessen up. It probably gives us a little bit better frame rate in the end. But all of the ship itself is just amazingly detailed. Over there we see one of the size 1, one of the 16 size 1 thrusters. So in this weight class, the 16 thrusters give it amazing maneuverability. We also got a glimpse of the turret on top, which houses 2 size 1 weapons. If you take the turret off, it is possible to put a size 4 weapon up there, and that would just pack a very powerful punch. Looking over the exterior again, you just get to see how beautiful this ship is, but also how drab it is in the colors that they're delivering it in. It looks like it's screaming for paint, and it's screaming for something that's like red and or maybe like a phoenix. I mean, that's what I could see. Inside is that less than sophisticated look that you expect from the Drake ships. And as a whole, although it looks kind of like a bird, it fits well within the Drake lineup. And it is just a gorgeous ship. About the only thing that disappoints me about the Buccaneer is its weapons placement. The Buccaneer proves to me that CIG isn't learning lessons that were learned back in World War II. The closer to the center line a weapon is, the more accurate it's going to be. One of the most accurate aircraft firing its weapons in World War II was the P-38 Lightning. So you're looking at something here that has weapons all the way to the outside of the wings, essentially the same placement of weapons on the Hornet. So then you have to play with convergence distances. In other words, the distance at which the weapons converge on a target, which is not in the game at this point. You essentially have to spray and pray to figure out what that is. Kind of, sort of, that's what the lead in the Pipper is doing for you, but it's still, you're going to hit some weapons and not others because the bullets are not actually going down the center line. So swapping the outside weapons in and moving the missiles outside would have been good, or at least moving the two size 2 weapons mounts to the inside and the 2 missile pylons to the middle would have been better. You know, it's amazing. CIG just doesn't get it sometimes, but they do produce amazingly awesome spacecraft. But one thing I'm talking about here is even other lessons learned in World War II, like manned turrets don't work so well. CIG still continues to make manned turrets. I mean, the latest ship that we got that has turrets was the Caterpillar, and along with the Constellation and the Retaliator, the manned turrets are hard to fire on other ships when the person flying the ship is also maneuvering. I'm all for remote turrets, and that's about it. What I've done in the meantime while I was talking is I brought out a fleet of ships that were all within the price range of the Buccaneer. In other words, the Buccaneer's cost or less. So when you're buying a Buccaneer, you could be buying a Cutlass, a 325A. You could be buying the Mustang Delta when it goes up for sale again, and that is a sweet one. The Gladius, of course, and the Hornet. So this is a hard one, because for those of you that are pirates at heart, I will tell you the Buccaneer is it. It gives you that feeling of flying in that ship that would be a pirate ship. If you're more based on something like being a mercenary, you might want to go for the Hornet or Super Hornet. And if you just want to have fun, this would be the ship for you. Right here. This one. The Mustang Delta. But it's all personal, right? And what I'm going to tell you right now is, when you look at these 6 ships out here, pick any one of them. Of course, I have to wait and see what the update to the 300 series does for that ship. But buy any one of them, and you're going to do well. And now let's take a look at how I would outfit the ship. The first thing I think of when I start outfitting a ship is, where do I want to put my weapons? How do I want to mount them? And the first thing I always do is, because I fly with mouse and, well, not with mouse and keyboard, with joystick and throttle and pedals, is the first thing I do is I get rid of the gimbals. The next thing I do is I start looking at how are the weapons going to act in combat? Are they all going to line up on the same lead Pipper? Meaning, am I using some ballistics? Am I using some cannons? Am I using mass drivers? What am I using? And then I start to make sure that I'm using the same type of weapons and the most powerful weapons in that type. So what I do is I put M3As on the wingtips on here because they punch through shields pretty well. I put the OS6s on the inside weapons mounts on the wings, and then I move the 117s, the Badgers, up to that wonderful turret. And let's see how I do. Now this is what you would expect from this ship before Item System 2.0 goes live, because I'm drawing a lot of power with OS6s, CF117s, and the M3As on the wing. I never run out of power, but I use short bursts nonetheless just to get ready for when that starts to happen. I also don't have a lot of cooling on this ship because you can't upgrade coolers right now, or maybe you can and I just haven't done it. But what I do find out very quickly is that this is a beast of a loadout for my style of play. My style of play is to get in there close and to scrap with these guys, or scrap with the adversaries that you have, and use missiles only when it's a last resort. The reason is, you have a very limited supply of missiles, 2 on each side, and you don't want to rely on the unreliability of your weapons, like missiles, to take out a foe. So what you want to do is get in as close as you can, because when you're close and you get all these weapons on target, the M3As and the CF-117s are going to wear down that shield pretty quickly, and then the OS6s are going to punch right through that hull and destroy it pretty quickly. You don't see that happen early in this match that I'm playing in right now, but it starts to happen later after I get a hang of the drift, the boost, and also the afterburner on this ship. I had a great time in this Vandal Swarm, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as time goes on. Although this doesn't turn out the way I intended to, all I'm showing you on this one is that once you get the meat of your enemy in your sights, this combination of weaponry is able to chew through shields and then armor, giving you a quick destruction of the enemy in front of you. Now, of course, I'm fighting against the convergence. I was a little bit too close. Some of my weapons were going far outside of where they should have been, but still, I tore this little Vandal up very well. Now, if you can see, I'm more than able to keep up with the maneuvering of this fighter. I could have just decoupled if I wanted to and had him in my sights the whole time. But whenever I am in the asteroid field, I try not to be decoupled because, scarily, I do not have the ability to see in all three sides. And when I decouple in these fields, generally it means I'm dead. So we killed that one a little bit longer than I wanted to show, but it does give you an idea. If you see how I started off that run, it was a great deal of damage really fast as soon as I saw the full width of that Vandal scythe. The other thing I like about this, not replacing the rattlers on it, is the rattlers really do give it that extra punch. There was one of those opportunities I was talking about, that when they give you their broadside, you could just decimate them. Let me move on to my first kill in Wave 3, which is coming up right now, and this is going to be against the Little King. Now, there are a little bit of adjustments made to Arena Commander. So Arena Commander is not going to be exactly how these ships work in the PU. In the PU, they're going to be not seeing handicaps or extra armor or extra shielding like they've done in the past to make it more competitive to use things like an Aurora. But all I did right here was I launched one of my rattlers at the Little King, and now that I turn, they're just going to go right on top of him, and he's gone. History. So the rattlers are an amazing weapon to take in this ship, especially if you're going to be going into Vandal Swarm. Now, I'm not 100% sure if you're going to get the same effects going against live human beings. I believe a human being is more likely to evade a missile than AI. Nonetheless, I do think that the rattlers are a very good piece of equipment to take. Going a little bit further ahead in Wave 3, I'm showing off again how quickly the guns could chew through an opponent. Now, it would only be better if you could get those two, not the outside, but the inside gun mounts moved to where the missile pylons are. I believe they would be much more accurate in that position. Now, I was thinking about going with 4 OS6s and putting 2 on the turret, but I think the rate of fire would just be too low for me to get off those shots in close-in situations when you might have just a few hit points left on the enemy and you just want to get those extra shots in on him. Nonetheless, this is my particular loadout. It doesn't have to be yours. I'm just showing you one that works for me. Now, whenever I go out and I fly in a new ship, I fly with a couple of different loadouts. So this is just the second one I chose. The first one I chose was with all ballistic weapons. And that's almost exactly what the ship ships with. But I just wasn't punching hard enough through the shields. So I went back to my tried and true. I'm going to try a couple of others out there. I want to see if I could actually get a size 4 mounted on the top of this ship and give you an idea of how that will work. I know many of you already have this ship. Some of you upgraded your Cutlass to it. Others bought it when it went on sale the first time, and still more bought it this time. I'm not advocating that people run out and buy a ship when the game's not done. What I am telling you is if you do want to make a donation, or I call them donations, if you do want to pledge to see the game come to its fruition, and your way of pledging is by buying a ship, this is one of those that would be a very fun ship to get. I was able to get through 9 levels today without even a major scratch. A couple of minor scratches, but no major scratches. And I feel like this would be a very competent fighter to take out if you were going with your friends to do a Vandal Swarm, a co-op. But I'm not so sure how it's going to fare against live people. In the realm of fighting live people, there's a lot more jinking and turning, and really you need to be that person that could outfly your opponent, and that means getting as much weaponry on target as possible. And I still think the best one-on-one ship is going to be the Saber loaded out with the biggest weapons you can. Is if you can keep your nose on target for just a little bit in a human-on-human fight, you're going to win every time. And I think the Saber gives you the best platform for that right now. For those of you that are more into PvE like myself, hey, this is very, very quickly getting up on that. I've got to play this over and over again. In fact, I was contemplating not getting this ship, just going, I have a bunch of fighters. Eventually I'll use the Herald, but instead I burnt that upgrade from the Herald to the Buccaneer because, hey, I'm just having too much fun here. Alright, so I'm going to end this first review of the Buccaneer saying, if you could buy it in-game at some point, or if you want to pledge and have your pledge go towards the sale of a ship and purchase the ship, you got my thumbs up for it. I'm not going to say it's the best ship out there. I still think the best fighter is the Saber. Again, my opinion, but I do extremely well in the Saber. I'm not going to say it's the most fun ship. I still think I have the most fun in the Mustang. There's nothing better than lining up something in your sights, launching those dumbfire rockets, and you're dumbfounded that they actually land. I have been incredibly happy, though, with the upgrade that I have burnt, moving my Herald into the Buccaneer. I think it is a worthy ship for anyone's hangar. Alright, this week we're going to have a postponement of Ben's Day for obvious reasons. He's working hard on getting some content out that needs to be to us soon, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So we've postponed until Monday, which actually is a good thing because Monday I also have a show which you will see first coming from Chris Smith. So I'll shoot Ben's Day on Monday, put out Chris's show on Monday, and then I will put Ben's show out on the day it's supposed to be out, which will be Friday. So it gives us some content. So I will fill in the hole that's left by Ben's Day with some more Star Citizen content. I'll come up with something over the next 24 hours and get it out to you all. And with that said, all I want to do is say thank you again for the most successful month I've had in YouTube. And I want to say help me drive up to 4K on my subscribers. But subscribers don't matter as much as viewers. And for those of you that come back every week, whether you're a subscriber or just somebody that comes out to watch my show, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. By clicking that thumbs up button and subscribing, you do help the show go on and help me get moved up in the also important search engine that Google uses for people finding Star Citizen videos. If you want to help out a little bit more, you can help me out by going to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Batgirl. There are some perks that have started to percolate coming out to my patrons. And one of the big ones is we have our own place to talk now in Discord. You get your questions asked to Ben before anyone else. And we play a lot together. I've got many of the patrons that I have Notable Joe, Felicia, Onion, a couple of other people are all friends of mine that I now play with as often as we can. Most of us have now been stolen away by Mass Effect, but once Mass Effect is done, I'm sure we'll be back to playing Star Citizen. Alright, that's enough for today. With that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, I forgot one thing. If there's any ship that you want me to review, just leave it in the comments section below.